Hello, guys. Videoslack here. Now, we've all been in school, and I remember when I was a kid, I went through the DARE system, which of course isn't around anymore because it didn't fucking work, obviously. And we've obviously all been told, don't do drugs, obviously. Who in their right mind would be dumb enough to just think, oh, illegal drugs are just all good for you? Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to say. Methamphetamine, meth, cocaine. Even marijuana, but I'd say marijuana is one of the few illegal drugs that if I see somebody do around here in town, I don't really tell anybody. I don't care about the marijuana so much, but plus, marijuana is actually a herb. But anyway, so with that being said, I of course have had some real life situations and experiences. That especially through, well, I guess I won't say, but you could definitely say that I've known people personally who have taken, I'll say, all of the good ones, if you know what I mean. And, I gotta say, those dare programs definitely did not do justice to teaching kids why not to do drugs. Even when I was a kid, I knew that DARE system was full of shit. And I forget some of the reasons why, because it was a long time ago. I think it was like, when I was 9 or 10 years old. But anyway, I gotta say, if I literally told some of these stories, if I was like a speecher at these schools instead of the DARE system that was in place, some of the things I heard of and knew about and experienced even when I was at that age, I guarantee you, it probably would have scared at least 80% of these kids away from doing drugs for the rest of their life. I kid you not, even when I was about that age, I had already seen and experienced people, the things that drugs just do. These drugs do, meth, etc. I gotta say, it's just so. How should I put it? These drugs aren't exactly a cure for anything. You think that they would be. I remember one of these druggies or tweakers in town once told me that the reason why people take these drugs is because they work. And then I said to him, well, then, how about we look around ourselves and see how much of a cure it really is? Because from what I've seen, this thing is just a fucking disease. It really is a fucking disease, in my opinion. Oh man, where do I start? I think they made cocaine in like the Old West. And I remember looking up that when they made cocaine, and he actually even used to use it for bubble gum, and of course, obviously, the refreshing drink that we know nowadays called Coke, which of course they don't put Coke in it anymore, but they used to. And if you've ever seen people with Coke, basically what I've seen it do to people is that it makes them feel the happiest that they've ever felt. And that's if you actually take real Coke. Because sometimes they'll kind of have a dumbed down version of it. Now, I've seen people take the synthetic versions of marijuana. I've seen them take just about all of them, really. I've even known people personally that have probably had every one of the every one of them, because people, they get bored with the same high sometimes, and then they try other things, and then before they know it, they've basically tried them all. And then sometimes those people will try other things to get high. And that's definitely when it gets bad for them. And I would say this is also definitely the point where they have officially met their goal of getting rid of all of their brain cells, basically. Yep, at that point, you have met your goal of getting rid of all of your brain cells. Good job. I mean, some of these people have done extremely dangerous things in order to get high, just in order to get a different high out of something. I've seen them. I've even seen some of them try candy, like suckers, for kids. I've seen them sniff up candy. I mean, just all types of things, trying to get high. I mean, these people are just nuts sometimes. They really are. I mean, and I don't know about your guys' areas, but in my area here, you don't have a party around here without some druggies in a corner at least, and a bunch of marijuana in the air. I swear, every party I've been to around this area, there's always that room upstairs with the druggies or that corner with the druggies. And when people take drugs, they also aren't energized like you see in movies. I don't know why they have people energized in movies. I guess because when you see somebody that's really high, it's maybe a little more dramatic, when you actually see it, because I mean, these people don't even have the energy to get up after they're high or while they're in that state. When they're taking meth or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily meth actually, but I think you know what I mean. I mean, I've also seen people do even just prescription meds. I've seen they'll take a razor blade on a mirror or a piece of glass if they can find a piece of glass anywhere. That they can put a line on. I've seen them do under the counter drugs. They'll take a razor and they'll just do that to it, make it till it's fine, and then they go like that. I've seen them do that before too. But these people, when they're high, with especially things like heroin, and that's one of the big ones, besides also meth, obviously. I mean, yeah, it's like they have no energy. If you tried doing something to them, even, they probably wouldn't even have the energy to defend themselves while they're in that state. When they're high like that, they just lay there. They don't they don't get energized when they're like that. And again, I don't know why they do this in movies. It's because it's not like that. I don't think the people that make these movies have ever known anybody that's gone high before. Anyway, enough about that. I mean, besides the side effects of drugs, by the way, I also put, a page for side effects and everything that you need to know about these drugs in the description. So if you want to know the side effects or anything else about these illegal drugs, just go into the link in the description, and it's all the information you need right there. I picked a good page for you guys. But anyway, so not only that, but there's a reason why I don't even do marijuana, which is, of course, one of the safer drugs, obviously. But even that has side effects, which you can also see in the description below. But anyway, the reason why I don't do any of them, including marijuana, is because, one, you can actually, since marijuana is still illegal in certain states like mine here, you can still get in trouble for it, for one. And two, like, you can sometimes actually still meet bad people. You see, when you start doing marijuana, what that says to other people is that they can try to get you to do other things as well. Because there are a lot of people that still do look at marijuana as a gateway drug, even though it isn't, actually. But a lot of people still see it as that. So they think, oh, this guy's doing marijuana, so how about I try to advertise some heroin for this guy or some crack or something else, you know what I mean? And they will try to get you to do this stuff. And if you don't, you are really going to anger them. And depending on the person, I can't guarantee your safety. Like, there's some of these guys are real psychos. They really are. Antisocial, whatever you want to call them. Some of these people are not good people. And I have known people personally who have actually gotten killed by these people when they don't like them. And let me tell you something. With these drug lords and these other people that work for these drug lords, if you piss them off and they don't like you, well, there goes your life right there. I'm sorry to say. Unless you move out of state ASAP, and you're probably going to have to leave some stuff behind. If you ever piss them off, you better leave the state, because they are going to be after your ass. And I know somebody that was personally killed like that. Let's just say I can't necessarily share all of the details of what they did to this person that I used to know back when I was a kid. But let's just say what this drug lord and a couple of his boys at least probably did to him was pretty effed up. They, in a nutshell, they desecrated his body after they killed him. And again, I can't necessarily share the details because it's too personal, and I'm not going to tell you who it was. But afterwards, his wife, who was probably one of the people that orchestrated the killing their son that she abused. I mean, just think of it this way: let's say your druggy, abusive wife gets you killed, and then takes all of your stuff, and then continues to abuse your son. Now, how effed up is that? That is the type of person and people you are dealing with when you get into drugs enough. Not to mention, again, drugs are not a cure for I would say anxiety or sadness or anything like that. They are not a cure. They are only something that pushes them aside. I remember one of my cousins used to tell me what the drug that he used to take, and I forget what drug he used to take, but at the time anyway, he told me that the first high is the best high. That when you take the drug that he used to take, that you're always going after that first high, which is how you get so addicted to it. Now, of course, my cousin, he's still doing drugs to this day, and right now, I remember this one time, years back, he once took heroin with a synthetic version of marijuana. Now, this synthetic version with marijuana could stop your heart. And to be frank, after he did that, I'm surprised he's still alive. I'm still friends with him on Facebook to this day. But right now, long story short, what he's going through right now is that he is with some other druggy, wife. His other wife obviously broke up with him. I don't think he gets to see his kids anymore. Because obviously with him doing the drugs that he does, he's seen as a threat to his kids. And, his wife, who he's with now, is a hooker who tries to make men eat. Not make men eat. She's trying to meet ends by being a hooker, basically, and doing drugs herself. And I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm surprised my cousin is still alive. How about I just put it like that? Because I just don't know what to say about that otherwise. that and some of the other people that I still know who are also doing drugs, like, oh my god, this one guy, he's just one big mistake after another. He just keeps on doing these drugs. At one point, on near the 4th of July, he was caught with meth, while he was trying to, you know, work at this fireworks stand. That and this one other time, that was actually last year that happened, by the way. But anyway, and also last year, he was caught trying to sell drugs to kids at a school. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I remember my stepbrother, Jordan, was all like, he's never going to change, is he? And I came up to him and I said, Jordan, the first time I met that guy, another thing about drugs is that when you take certain drugs, especially when you're a certain age, like a teenager, your mind doesn't develop